Hello, good evening. I am just waiting to see where Nikki is. Hopefully, she will be in here very shortly. And here we go. There she is. There's Nikki. Go live. I'm just waiting for it to connect. So I have Nikki.
Hello.
Hi.
You all right?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I look a bit short here, don't I?
Well, do you know what? I've just clocked that my kitchen tap is dripping. And you know when it's just like you can't zone out of it, like I can hear it, and it's just going to be that thing that is
Turn it
just
off.
going
Turn
to
it off.
piss me off. That's better. Hi. Don't we look
So,
nice?
all glammed up. Even Levan just said to me, "You look nice." I said, "Yeah, I look like shit all the rest of the time."
I know, it's like trying to conceal these two little beauties that have decided to join my face. Put a bit of mascara on. I'm surprised it hasn't dried up.
Bless you. So, how are you doing, lovely?
I'm all right, thanks. I'm doing all right. We are today was my first day out of isolation, which has been really nice. So I went for a run. That was really good. Hoping that Jesse, my eldest, he can go out on Thursday. Fingers crossed. He just needs 2 negatives. But yeah, the whole of December has just been, well, you know, don't you? I don't need to tell you about it.
Do you know what? The last time we spoke, I was in Turkey.
Yeah,
Everything was grand. Well, a couple of
yeah.
things weren't too good. I ended up in hospital, but that's another story. And then we come home to 5 members of the family with COVID, 2 in hospital, husband really poorly. Then the dog gets attacked. I'm just like, yeah, I
Mental,
didn't
isn't it?
cope so well. But you've been amazing. I've only known this woman 6 weeks.
Think
And
so.
like, yeah, new best friend. Like, we get on so well and we speak every day. And you've just been my rock. Absolutely.
Yeah, the content isn't that great though, I must admit. Like, you know, I do waffle a lot of shite, but you know. Um, yeah, thank you so much for agreeing to do a live. I don't know about you, but there are so many people getting in contact. Obviously, you know, being the time of year that it is.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just so busy. And I guess that I really wanted to ask you,
God.
putting you on the spot, out of all the plans that are out there, what appealed to you about the one-to-one diet?
Um, truthfully,
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
I didn't really know anything about it. So I'd done Life to Life half-heartedly,
mm,
but I didn't gel with my consultant. I don't think she'd ever known what being overweight was all about, or she didn't have the empathy at all to really get into somebody's head. And my sister mentioned it, and she said, "How about the Cambridge Weight Plan?" And if I'm honest, I'd done, oh my God, what's the one that you can get lipo trim from the chemist? And I mean, oh, it's disgusting. So I'd done the milkshake diet before
right.
and just thought, oh, I'll give it a go. And yeah, I lost 6 stone.
Amazing. And you're still maintaining
Yeah.
it, which is
Yeah,
incredible.
I did. No, I did put it back on. So I kept it off for 8 years,
Yeah.
and then obviously my health's been a bit nasty, and just went back to my old ways. I didn't get in with my mindset the right way. So I went back to eating takeouts, eating sweets, eating the food that I thought was comfort to me.
Which
Well,
was
actually, it wasn't.
damaging.
It was destroying me. And then obviously last year I nearly died. I had a health scare, and it was a wake up call that I needed. I'd lost about a stone and a half with the illness, and I just thought, now I need to sort my life out. So
'Cause
yeah, I've been maintaining since the first lockdown. I lost it all. again.
Amazing. Yeah, but that's the thing though, because like, I think a lot of people's perceptions maybe about not necessarily this diet, but diets is that they are all yo-yos and diets don't really work. It's not really about the diet, it's about your mindset. It's all about
Yeah,
kind of like how you apply everything that you've learned whilst losing the weight and how you, apply it to maintaining it. Because unless you don't follow that discipline all the way through your maintenance program, then essentially you're just winging it, and then you're most likely to put the weight back on because like you've got to do the hard work that follows up by maintaining. You can't just
yeah,
throw the rule book out the window and go, oh, I'll be all right, I've lost the weight. You've kind of still got
yeah.
to step up, haven't you?
That's where a lot of people go wrong, unfortunately. They lose all the weight, they feel
Yeah,
fantastic, but their head hasn't caught up with their body.
yeah,
And that's why, I work heavily with the mindset, because if you can conquer the mindset, you're halfway there. And, you have to work hard at this. It's not an easy diet,
no,
but it's so worth it. And, I was talking to someone earlier about doing the diet, and she knows somebody who's going over to abroad to have a gastric band.
oh
And I
right,
just said to her,
okay,
bypass, not even a band, the full shebang. And I just said to her, I know so many people that have had that operation and are miserable. They can't
yeah,
eat, they can't enjoy life.
yeah,
As with us, if you get the right consultant that's behind you, supporting you, not only will they help you lose weight, but they will see you all the way through and
mm.
teach you how to look at life differently. Because it's a lifestyle change, ultimately.
So is that what you think? So what would be like the three things if you were going to advise a potential slimmer? What are the traits that a consultant should have that you think a slimmer should look for?
Well, someone who supports them, not somebody who just drops off their food or sends their food and they get a message every day. You want to have contact with that consultant, and someone who shows empathy and really can relate to what you're talking about. Because if a slimmer has a bad day and you really don't care, then that's not right. You
Mm,
should care. You should have empathy or sympathy,
yeah,
and understand, we've been overweight ourselves, and we know that we will make excuses. Great Auntie Flo's just died. I need to get a takeout.
yeah,
You don't need
yeah,
to take out because your great Auntie Flo's died.
yeah,
You
yeah,
want to take out because that's what gives you comfort,
yeah,
because you
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
changed your mindset.
yeah. It's so weird, isn't it? Because when you talk to people who want to start plan and you delve into kind of their lifestyle and what they do and their habits, and they said, oh, and I always treat myself at the end of the day with a glass of wine. And I always think treat is such a contradictory, because actually the wine that you think you are treating, or even the chocolate or crisps or digestives or whatever, is actually the thing that is causing you the most damage. So that relationship between the treat is the downside, it's kind of like where all the unraveling starts. And it's like, especially with wine or alcohol, where you think you're having that one glass, then it turns into two, then it's like, well, I might as well have half. Should we share half a bottle? Yeah, let's just share half a bottle. Oh, all of a sudden the Pringles and the Doritos, and then you just think, should we get pizza? And then all of a sudden you're waking up in the morning with dehydration and like that
And then you want to
carb.
start all over again. But the
It's
thing is, that
mental,
all
isn't it?
stems from when you're younger. When you fall over, it'll be, come on, don't cry, I'll buy you something. You would treat, this isn't everyone, but, the majority of people were treated for being good with a treat.
Yeah.
So, if you're quiet for mummy for an hour, I'll buy you a McDonald's and
My
stuff like
God,
that.
I
So
swear.
we've planted that seed already into our mindset.
Yeah,
So when you're talking about what you're talking, we've already got it in our head that
yeah,
that one glass of wine, actually, I've been really good today. I've been on plan all day. So
yeah,
I'm going to treat myself with a glass of wine.
yeah,
What people don't look at is they're not looking at the bigger picture. This is an investment. This isn't just a quick fix. You know,
Mm.
why do you want to change your life? Why do you want to lose weight? What will that do for you? What will that give you? So
Mm.
we break it down, we chunk it right down. So I want to lose weight because it makes me happy. Why does it make me happy? Well, when I'm happier, everyone around me is happier because you're letting off an aura. If everyone around me is happier, then we do exciting things together. Just
Yeah.
making this up. But
Yeah. Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they say it's the five whys and you
Yeah.
enhance on
Yeah.
that, and if
Yeah.
you keep chunking it down,
Yeah.
instead of looking at what I can't have,
Yeah.
look at what you're going to get at the end of it. And if
Absolutely.
it's causing you that much pain, then
Mm.
you don't really want to lose the weight.
Yeah, and I think that's it, isn't it? It's kind of like getting to the root of why, and like what, like you said, why is it important? Which also kind of makes, we don't realize what an impact, positive or negative, our mood has on our direct family. And
Yeah,
I know from not even being able to go out for a run, if I'm not able to go out for a run, I feel like a caged animal, and I'm ratty and I'm short tempered, and I just kind of, I find everything irritating because I haven't been able to kind of
that's your
like,
release.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
think that's it. Like when we are not feeling great about ourselves, we deflect, don't we? We just kind of like, our first
absolutely.
reaction is to deflect and go, oh, and shout and be irrational to everything else, without actually going, hold on a minute, actually they're not the issue, there's something going on here that is causing this, and I need to sort this out, because actually once I sort this out, everything's like dominoes, isn't it? It'll just kind of like
Yeah.
fall
We
into
said that
place.
last night, didn't we, on the phone? It was exactly
Yeah.
what we said. Sometimes we might say something the wrong way to somebody because we're not feeling it
Yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah, we
which
did,
will
didn't we?
then, yeah, which will then create a massive argument, or
Yeah.
someone might perceive it to be something it's not.
Yeah.
But it is the mind is a powerful tool. It's a powerful, crazy tool, and you've got to program it right, and you
Yeah.
can't play around with it. It's
No.
there's no tricking the mind.
And I think that maybe because the majority of people that I'm talking to are in a similar situation to me, whereas they're in their mid 40s, they've pretty much had their kids, they're still carrying a bit of baby weight, and it's kind of talking to them and just going, okay, well, who are you, who are you, the person behind mum, who are you behind the person, and it's just kind of like, well, what makes you happy? And so
Yeah,
often it's just kind of like, well, I've forgotten. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that's made me
yeah,
happy.
yeah.
But
And that's it.
there
You
was,
do forget. I mean, I was in a dark place. Last 2 weeks has been a hell.
mm,
So I've got something flashed up, camera health, don't know what that is. And it's for me, like you said to me, just put a bit of makeup on. And do you know what? Just putting that bit of makeup on lifted me.
yeah,
I still felt in a bit of a dark place, but it just lifted me up. And I remember somebody saying, always get up, get out of bed and put some makeup on. Obviously have a
yeah.
wash. Don't just put it on, but you know what I mean? If you want to, you don't have to have a wash.
I
But
mean,
if
I
you
can't smell you, so we're all right.
I swear, do you know what? I've put perfume on specially for this thing, I have,
I
But it
haven't even
just,
got a bra on, so like,
have you not?
no.
I've got bra and knickers on, I tell you now. But it just makes you feel better and it makes you feel human.
Yeah,
And I think that's probably been my downfall recently is I haven't been getting up. I've been working from my bed and it's not healthy. It's not
yeah,
healthy.
yeah,
And we all struggle with mental health. I don't think it should be a subject that should be off topic. We just because we're consultants, we're not we're not invincible.
unpenetrable. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And it's, sometimes we do have down days. I mean, somebody sent me a message earlier and said, are you okay? I haven't seen you. I haven't heard from you. Have I upset you? And I'm like, oh my God, no. Because I'm so full on all the time,
Yeah.
I very rarely withdraw, and I think this is probably the first time I've done it in 17 years where I've been really quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, but you've had to look after your health, Nikki. It's just so demanding. And I think that, this was like on the back of convention because obviously, you've got that amazing award, Diamond
I know,
Leader.
and I feel like I haven't really been able to celebrate it because we got the award. Then I went to Turkey. Then I got
Mm,
ill in
mm,
Turkey. Then
mm,
came back to Levan having COVID
mm,
with his family over there having it. And
mm.
I did live in fear of catching it. Obviously, that my anxiety was through the roof.
Yeah.
And it sounds selfish, but obviously with my health conditions, even
Yeah,
though I've
yeah.
been double jabbed, triple jabbed,
Yeah.
people are
Well, it's
still
still a
dying of it.
worry,
Yeah, so
massively.
I wasn't quite ready to go yet. I convinced myself I was going to get it. I literally thought I wanted this award for so long. I won the award and now I'm going to die. Honestly, I went into a really dark place, but I'm out the other
Crikey.
side now. It's scary though. I had like with Levan, I was just looking after him from a closed door, so I
Yeah.
could see him through. I've got like a doggy cam that we watch the dogs on,
Nanny
so I
cam.
made him
Yeah,
put
I've
that
heard all
in
that
there.
shit.
Yeah, so I could at least I could see him breathing. It's
Joking,
the
Joe.
most.
I'm just checking to see if he's breathing. But I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Unless anyone's experienced it, and
Mm,
Kate Garraway, I don't know how she coped. I only
yeah.
had 2.5 weeks of it.
Yeah.
And it was, for me, it was hell, not
Yeah.
being able to be in the same room. And I
Yeah.
think having to deal with everything else on top,
Yeah.
it just, yeah, I just spun out of
Crazy, isn't it?
control.
Because, like, I've had it for the last 10 days and I have been
I look at you, I
largely
know.
unaffected. I haven't been, I think maybe one day I wanted to stay in bed. Like, it's not that I had to stay in bed. Um, and, I just got my booster. So maybe that has something to do with it. But,
I think it massively has the reason why I didn't. I mean, literally, I was, because when his brother got it in Turkey, we then went into quarantine, and
yeah,
both Levant and I had our PCR test done on the Friday. And we flew back on the Sunday, and it was the Sunday that he went downhill, and
yeah,
he really went downhill on the flight. And
yeah.
he even drove home because I wasn't well. So yeah, it was awful. But this network, honestly, there's been you, there's been Katie from Scotland. I mean, I've sort of hooked up with a few girls that have just been incredible, and they've just kept my spirits going.
It
And
is
and
amazing, isn't it?
yeah,
It's so funny because, like, from the business point of view, even though because I've had quite a few people who have asked me about the business opportunity side of things, and I think there is a business opportunity on the 10th of January. I think that's the first bomb of the year, which I think
I
it
don't
is.
know.
But even though we are all self-employed, it doesn't feel like it. Especially
No,
like when
it's
you're going to
lovely.
convention and training, like we're not really, it doesn't feel like we are.
No, I think if you can, I'm a real believer in support people. Women supporting women. You don't need to bash them down. And I think we've got a network which there's a lot of us that do support each other, which is
Mm,
really nice, and it's how it
mm,
should be. I mean, you're
yeah,
always going to get, wherever you work. It doesn't matter where you work.
the
You're
odd
always
one
going
or
to get
two.
something. You can't. If anybody says their job's perfect in every single way, they're lying. There's
Mm,
always going yeah, there's always going to be something. But the difference with us is we can choose who our circle is.
yeah, yeah, we're
So
not
if
put with
someone's
anyone.
being a twat, they get
Yeah,
kicked out of the
yeah.
circle. It's as simple as that.
And
But
also, yeah, go on.
yeah, go on, no, go on. No, I was going
Oh,
to
I've
say,
forgotten
and
what I was going to
we're
say.
our own boss. So
Yeah,
all the hours we put in, who reaps the rewards? We do.
yeah.
So it isn't. We work bloody hard, don't get me wrong, we do work hard for what we have, but it isn't like a job. I mean, I enjoy what I do, massively
Mm,
enjoy it. It's not a
mm,
chore. That's what
mm.
I was going to say, it's not a chore.
Because because you had a full-time job that you quit.
I walked out of.
Wh-
I just got up I was in the travel industry, and I was a relief person where you'd go in to cover. But I'd
Mm,
go in and they'd all be like talking about what they're doing at the weekend and just chuck me all the work. I
right.
hated the job. I'd got to the stage where I'd done management, I'd gone into relief. There was nowhere else for me to go. So
Yeah.
one day I literally picked up call after call after call, got all these bookings, and said to the woman, I'm just going out for lunch, and never came back. Oh, it was amazing. Don't do
Oh,
it, guys, if you watch him. Very irresponsible, but it was the best thing. And I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if I hadn't have gone
yeah.
through what I went through in my past. So
Yeah. Yeah.
again, I was talking to somebody today, and said, if you hadn't have gone through what you went through, you wouldn't be where you are today because your path wouldn't have taken you that way.
So true. Like, and like you do, I mean, there is an element of fate, and also there is an element of you make your own luck. And I think that you've got to, similarly, I think you've got to want that drive, you've got a passion, but it depends what you want out of the business, isn't it? Like you've been in the game much longer than I have, and your success has just shown that by working hard, you will be successful. And it is only because of working hard. I don't think that you can be lucky. Um,
No,
in
your
a
passion has to be there. I mean, my
exactly.
passion is probably deeper now than it was when I first started because
Yeah,
I didn't have the sponsor that looked after me. You know, she
yeah,
signed on the dotted line. I don't even know if she's still alive, you know.
yeah.
So,
Mental, isn't it?
yeah,
So
I
I
don't know where I was going with that. I just started
um
something I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, but in my day, you know, I'm not saying you don't work hard now, of course you do, but we didn't have social media. We
mm,
didn't have all the incredible tools that you guys have today.
yeah,
And this is what I say to head office when we have our meetings. And I said, but
mm,
we're old school. So we
yeah,
fight for things because we know how hard it was for us to build our business
yeah,
at the time. You know, I wasn't allowed to look after anyone in the UK. I could only look after where I lived.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I couldn't sponsor anybody. They had to be dieting with me, a certain BMI. I think they had to do it for a year to start with. You had to know them a year and then 6 months. You know, the rulings were bloody hard.
See, I've come in
Um,
from a totally different, like how it is now from when
yeah,
I
exactly.
joined is just
I mean, you
completely
are
different.
laughing. You can literally, I mean, I said I don't want this to be about my health on here, but because I've been so poorly, my clients do know about my health, but some
Mm,
of them don't, and they
yeah,
haven't had to know because I've worked from
yeah,
my bed.
yeah,
I still give them the same amount of support,
yeah,
and that is the beauty of being self-employed
yeah,
and doing the job that we do is that we
yeah,
can dictate the
yeah,
hours. And like with you, with little one being poorly the other week when you had to get him because his whole world had ended because he'd hurt his head. But if you were in employment, that would
yeah,
have been hard work
yeah,
for you to get time off work, probably
yeah,
stress and an argument with your
yeah,
boss.
yeah,
You would have
yeah.
then come home and probably not been happy because it wasn't as bad that you needed to come out of work to then lost the day's holiday. All that
Yeah,
stress.
yeah. I
We
mean,
don't
it's
have
so
any of
funny because
that.
like when I became a consultant, what it would have been like May 2019, I had an office job, and the reason why I became a consultant is because we just bought a house, everything went on the credit card. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, everything went on the credit card. And I really needed to pay that off, really, and I could only work so many hours in the day at the office job that I was doing. I didn't want to do any evenings. I didn't want to put after school hours and put the kids into after school clubs and therefore pay the money that I was earning. So
It defeats the object.
I needed something that I could do from home without childcare, that wasn't going to take away my evenings and all that stuff. And a friend of mine who became my sponsor, her husband lost weight with the one-to-one, and I had put 3 stone on in each of my pregnancies, and I had lost it over a really painful journey on not the one-to-one diet. So I hadn't come in as a slimmer. I had just come in from, okay, well, what can I do as a business? A little kind of something on the side. It was I just want something on the side whilst I've got my main job. I understood the weight process. I understood, having been there twice before, having gained 3 stone, having lost 3 stone, how it made me feel. I understood, you know, so from an empathy point of view, I could relate to the baby weight, like the lacking of self-confidence, the kind of like, my baby, all it's doing is crying, how am I ever going to get time for me? Like I got it. And you know, so I felt like I had that to kind of bring to the table as a consultant's point of view. And then over time, like the business just started to grow. And then it got to January of this year. We're still in
Yeah, nearly, you're nearly
2021.
gone.
So we're still in 2021. So it got to January, we were still in the thick of lockdown, and homeschooling was about to start from January to March. And I'd been at home and I
Homeschooling.
was, oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. And I was furloughed with my office job, but I still had the diet. So whilst I was furloughed with the office job, you know, my little business was actually kind of like my lifeline, because it was
Yeah,
keeping me something mentally to do that wasn't with the kids, because I was furloughed with the other job. So having to do the diet was just my absolute release,
saves you.
really. And it
Yeah,
just gave me that focus. So when Boris was talking about June, everything's going back to normal, June the 21st, June the 21st, I was like, oh shit, you know, that time was coming nearer and nearer and nearer. And I just thought, I don't want to go back. I absolutely do not want to go back. I don't want to do that hour commute. You know, whilst when the kids went back to school in March, I was still furloughed. So I was able to go and pick them up from school every day. They'd started their football clubs and their swimming activities. And I was like, I was never able to take them before because I
yeah.
didn't finish work till 5 and I was getting home till 6. And I was like, I want to be part of that world for them.
Because
Um,
they don't really see us, do they? Like you,
no.
I'm just listening to you now, thinking I never. I mean, I was. Alex did go to a childminder twice a week. I can't even remember that long ago how I used to work. But that's the thing. We have these children, and unless you're these parents who just bung them into after school club and you don't really want your kids, but you've had them, or you
Yeah,
have kids and you want them, but you can't
yeah,
afford to have them, so
yeah,
you have to
yeah,
work.
yeah.
And it's like they only see us maybe 2 hours a week at
Yeah,
night. Like they get
yeah.
home from school 5, they're in bed by 7:30. They don't
Yeah,
get much time with us, do they?
no. And I just thought, you know what, something had to change. And when my company, they were going to stipulate that from the June the 21st, that they were expecting us to spend at least 50% of our time in the office. And I was like, no, not going to do it. So I ploughed all of my energy and I just thought, right, January 2021, I am going for it. And then in June, I think it might have been May the 21st, I gave my 4 weeks notice and I quit that office job because I thought,
Yeah,
you know, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm earning, and actually, you know, I was earning more money. In fact, I had earned in the first 2 weeks of the month my office salary that I normally take 4 weeks to earn. So it was just showing to me. I was like, crikey, I've already earned
yeah,
my salary, and I've still got another 2 weeks of the month there. And I was doing that around a 30-hour week job. So if I had all that time to myself, can you imagine how I could be able to grow this business? And it's just
yeah,
showing. I've just bought a car.
yeah.
Just bought a car.
Exactly. I mean, it is life changing. I mean, it's totally transformed my life. When I went bankrupt, so I had an ex that I was a fool. I fell in love. He was a rogue. And yeah, lots of history there. I won't go into it. So I went bankrupt, and actually, Alex's dad, if it wasn't for him giving me a credit card at the beginning, I wouldn't have been able to do it because you can't get credit cards or anything when you go bankrupt. So obviously, he helped me. So I was able to buy the stock and that lot. But this job saved me because I
Mm,
was in the gutter. Literally, I had nothing. Literally, I had
mm,
nothing. And
amazing.
now, I mean, I've got a lovely 5-bedroom house. I drive a nice car. You know, we used to have really nice holidays. We used to back in the days before COVID.
What are
But, you know, we'd
they?
always go, you are?
What are they?
I know. And the thing is, I don't think, well, will we take things for granted? I did say to my husband, I'll never have an argument with you again when he was the other side of the door. But
How
that's
long did
already
that
happened.
last?
Oh, about a day, not
Yeah.
even that. But I think we are lucky with the job that we have, but
Mm,
we do work hard for it. But
mm,
yeah, if somebody said to me, you can have, I don't know, any job in the world, but you'd be employed or stick
mm,
with what you do,
mm.
I'd stick with what I did.
Because the thing is, Nikki, is that, I don't know, maybe it's kind of like a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older, maybe it's because I've got kids. I don't know what the reason is why, but I just felt like I am in a rat race and all I'm doing is just, lining someone else's pocket. Like I'm working
Yeah.
hard. It's unappreciative. It's a thankless task. It's something that I feel like has no value. I'm not enjoying it. And I'm thinking, what am I doing? I would rather work twice as hard. And I know there's this thing about work smarter, not harder. So, but I mean,
Yeah.
I would have
But you
rather
have to
worked,
work hard
and
to
I
start
still,
with. Yeah.
yeah. And even now, when I say to Russ, I was like, look, I'm doing these, or I'm sorting out client products. I was like, this is for our family. This isn't
Oh
because
God,
I'm
yeah.
working for someone who is at home enjoying a glass of wine while their staff are working their ass off and they don't even know it. Like everything that I am doing is because of my family, everything.
Mm.
So if I
And
am
they'll
sacrificing,
benefit from it massively.
yeah.
And you've got two boys who might go to university, and it's not cheap, I tell you. And especially with COVID hitting, Alex hasn't been able to work for 2 years. He is a consultant with me, but he doesn't do it. Let's face it, he doesn't do it.
Consultant.
Yeah, but he could do it if he wanted
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
but he's at that
yeah.
age, doesn't want to, and I won't push
No.
it. But he's not been able to work, so we've had to fund 2 years of uni. He got his grant, but he didn't get much because we earned too much. So
Mm,
it's a catch-22. And if
mm,
it wasn't for this job, I wouldn't be able to give him 100 quid here, 100 quid there. I
yeah,
just wouldn't be able to do it. So,
yeah.
he's lucky
So
massively. And like
lucky.
when Levant came to England, because obviously I met him in Turkey and he moved over here with maybe £2,000 to his name. And he's, built up his own business from scratch. And it just
Yeah,
shows you it doesn't matter what job you do. And I say with anyone, if any people are sitting there with nothing to do, they could just go and buy a jumper and sell it for a profit. Go to the
yeah,
charity
yeah,
shop, get 10
yeah,
quid, buy yourself three
yeah,
items and sell and make a profit.
yeah.
There's money to
Vinted is
be
quite good,
made
isn't it? Vinted. Do
everywhere.
you like Vinted? Do you go on Vinted?
No,
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a
is it?
yeah, it's a really good textiles website app
I've
website.
used what I'm liking now is Stitchfix,
Oh, I
which is
tried that.
amazing.
I tried it,
I've
but
got,
I
let
sent
me,
everything back.
oh, did you? See, I like my stuff I got 5 things. I sent 3 things back, kept 2.
Yeah, I sent everything back. I don't know. I just kind of like I listened to Shag Married Annoyed with Chris and Rosie Ramsey. Do you know them, Chris and Rosie?
No.
So Chris Ramsey is a Geordie comedian, and his wife Rosie is kind of like, she's always kind of like, she was a Butlins rep, and so she loves like
Okay.
theatre and drama. She's kind of like, anyway, so in lockdown or just before lockdown, they started a podcast and it's called Shag Married Annoyed, and essentially it's them every week having a chat and just airing out their dirty laundry and just kind of chatting like married couples and all that stuff. Anyway, they've just started getting sponsored by Stitchfix. So I was like, right. So in fact, you know what? It just shows how it works, because as a result of Chris and Rosie, massive tangent by the way, I signed up to Stitchfix. I looked into Squarespace, and because it was about designing a website, and I also signed up with HelloFresh, and that's all because I was listening to their podcast. I'm a
Wow.
sucker, right?
Honestly, you are. Yeah, you are. But no, you don't need Square. What's it? Square?
Squarespace.
No, Levant did
But
that for his web page when he first started.
nah, rubbish. But
You
going
can't have
back
an
to you
extra
like
web
about
page
making
anyway.
money, like even to be a consultant, like it's £200. £200 to start a business, which, you know, you could spend that on a decent meal or night out and not even bat an eyelid. You know, if you think, right, I'm going to go out for a birthday dinner and yeah, this is my budget, people wouldn't necessarily bat an eyelid at £200. But to think that you could start your own business and look to the where you've got to with that £200, and me,
Yeah.
look, I'm doing all right.
And the thing
It's
is, I
amazing.
mean, it speaks volumes being here 17 years, doesn't it? And I've still got the same passion. You know, if I didn't have that passion and I was just reaping the rewards but not doing
Yeah,
anything, giving anything back, then I
yeah.
think that would say something. But, you know, as I said, I'm more passionate now than I probably was back in the days because I didn't know what this business, and it's not just a monetary thing. It gives us so much pleasure in transforming people's lives as well, watching people come into our lives really shy, unhappy, not sure
Yeah,
about their life, where they
yeah,
want to go, what
yeah.
direction. And we follow that, and we watch them blossom into, as somebody said to me, you're a caterpillar that turned into a butterfly.
Yeah, but
And
that's
that's
so
it, isn't it?
true. And it's kind of like, you know, when you have your conversations with your slimmers, 9 times out of 10, they don't go, oh, Joe, I'm really pleased I've reached X amount of stone. It's because they have got on an aeroplane and they haven't needed the extension of the seatbelt. It's because they were celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary and they've been able to wear their wedding and engagement ring for the first time in 5 years. It's because they've been able to lower their insulin dosage for their type 2 diabetes. All of these things that are huge non-scale victories, which are so important. And they're the reasons that people want to lose weight, not because, oh, they want to be X amount of kilos, pounds, or stones. It's because of
Exactly.
these experiences that they're now able to achieve through their weight loss.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I took a photo when I was on the plane in Turkey of me actually got my legs up on the seat with a gap. It was like that would
Yeah,
never have happened before. And
yeah,
it's those little things that make you appreciate and are proud of what you've achieved. And
definitely.
anybody watching this who sits there and does want to lose weight, you know, it is the best journey. It's not, I wouldn't say it's the easiest. It's easy to
Yeah,
follow because
yeah,
we just give you the foods and you just do as you're told. And mentally, you know, if the consultant will work with your mindset,
yeah,
then great. But
yeah.
it's not compulsory. You know, not we're not. You don't have to have that behind you to be a successful consultant. Definitely not.
No, I think it, like you said, it's just having the empathy and, you know, relating to situations of, you know, just kind of like, and giving hope, really. It is giving hope.
Yeah,
And I just think that there are a lot of people who have probably considered it and, you know, decided not, it's not for them. Or, you know, I was on social media a few weeks ago and I put on a post and it was in a local group to where I live and it got absolutely slammed and about how it was bait and how it
oh,
was triggering. And I was like, you have no idea. Like, you're just looking at it from one point of view about how you might find it triggering. For other people's, this is like their last chance of feeling like
yeah.
that it's the last step
But
before
you'll
surgery.
find that the people that run these pages that you've triggered something, you've hit a nerve,
Yeah,
and they don't like it because they want it
yeah.
and they can't do it. 9 times out of 10, it's just them who've got the issue,
It's
and
mad, isn't
they
it? It's
take
just
it
like,
out
you know,
on us.
you're just looking at it from just very one dimensional. These people who might think, oh my gosh, I've not heard of the one-to-one diet. I need to see whether this could be suitable for me. And if they do end up losing whatever weight, then how could that have been a trigger? You know, there's always going to be a yin to a yang. You are
There's
never always
adverts
going
on
to, you know,
TV. There's triggers everywhere. You know, that's why we always say to our clients, what are your triggers?
yeah,
You know, if you give up smoking, every single program you'll see someone smoking because that's what you're focusing on.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you've just lost a baby, it'll be
yeah,
baby. You know, it is just how the mind works.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh God.
don't
Well,
know.
what have you got planned for the rest of the week?
God, where are we? Tuesday. Do you know what, Joe? I don't
Um,
know. I really don't know what. I'm
Tuesday.
not. I'm off at the moment, so I'm not officially back to work until first week in Jan, but I still work behind the scenes,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
What have I got planned? I don't know. Well, my son was meant to be coming home today. It's 8:45. He's still not here. So, yeah, we didn't. I think I've seen him an hour so far. Just,
Yeah,
I
happy
know that's the
Christmas, Mum.
problem. They come home. They don't. They just use it as a hotel.
Oh my gosh, I've got such vivid memories of my dad saying that to me as well. You treat this place like a hotel. And I was like, well, where's my room service?
Thing is, though,
That
you
didn't go down
don't.
very well.
As a child, you don't appreciate what your parents do for you. You really don't. You don't. I put
No,
my hands up. I didn't.
no,
We don't appreciate how expensive things are, and they're working hard to give us the stuff that we wanted. And it was harder in our days. It really
yeah.
was. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't be without him. But yeah, pain in the ass.
My little
I do know
darlings
the
are
meaning.
asleep. They're
But yeah, so I
asleep.
don't know what I'm doing. I've got to empty the Bedford shop because we've closed that down now.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, it's closed down now. I didn't want to work from there anymore. And the
No.
girls have got their premises or they're going to work from home. You don't need a premise in this business. You
I
really
was going to
don't.
actually ask you about that. So, what is your take on, because I kind of like flit between, because you've seen my stock situation,
Yeah.
and I kind of like, oh gosh, do I, should I? And I kind of like feel like mostly I don't want to.
What is
Um,
the point of paying? I mean, Anthony and I were paying just over £600 a month.
each or
What's the
between?
point? No, between us.
Yeah,
But what's the point of spending that out when it works fine where it is?
yeah,
Yes, your storage space is, we need to sort that out. But, that's something that can be fixed.
yeah,
But to have a premises, do you know what I hated? I loved it to start with. I really loved it. And I loved working with Anthony. It was brilliant. I loved that aspect of it. But it became a chore. And when it became a chore, I realized I
yeah,
didn't enjoy it.
yeah,
And I can do it from home.
yeah,
And I can see clients from home, but I'm obviously doing the virtual now.
yeah,
So I'm just working virtual 100%. I'm not seeing any face-to-face clients. It's
yeah,
all virtual. And I'm doing that for two reasons. Obviously, because of COVID. For me, that's my personal choice.
yeah.
And secondly, obviously, I'm just doing it.
But also the
Yeah.
thing is, I think, and the other thing why I kind of always ended up going with not doing it is because then it was taking me away from home. So
Well, yeah,
what
you can
I
do the washing and the
yeah,
ironing and
exactly. So while the kids are in bed, I can do this. Now, I mean, I could do this wherever I am, but like, I'm normally packing products or like getting starter packs ready, and I can do that whilst I'm watching the TV with Russ or, in the house. Whereas if it was all on a premises, I'd be like, actually, it's doing the one thing that I didn't want to do, and that's taking me away from
yeah.
home.
The only thing, I mean, obviously, I've got an office outside, so the only thing is, it does get you to shut up shop
Yeah,
and stop.
yeah,
But I work from everywhere, so I'm at the moment in my dining room. I work from my bedroom. I work from my lounge. I don't
yeah,
actually ever work from my office. Excuse me,
yeah.
I never work from my office unless
Why
I'm seeing
not?
clients because I don't like being outside because it's at an outside cabin. So
Ah.
I'd rather, because I've got an office upstairs. I mean, we've got a 5-bedroom house. We don't
All
need
right,
five
all right.
bedrooms.
Someone's doing
No,
well.
but we needed it for Levant's workshop, not for the having a big house. So we've got the
I can't remember
room.
how many rooms I've got.
I might have 17, no. But it's all about how you make the space. So I used to work from my kitchen.
Yeah, yeah,
Literally, I worked
yeah,
from my kitchen. All my
yeah,
cupboards were just full of products.
yeah, yeah,
I worked from my lounge.
yeah,
You don't, as long as it's obviously it has to be clean, it has to be
yeah,
tidy when clients come
yeah,
round, but they're
yeah.
not coming to inspect where you're working from.
No.
People buy people, so people will buy you as your personality, and then obviously what we give them is an added bonus.
I think that's it, isn't it? It's kind of like, which is why you can't buy the products on any internet selling site. You can't buy them on eBay. You can't buy them anywhere because you have to buy them through a consultant, because that is the ethos of the one-to-one bit. And if the one-to-one
Yeah,
bit isn't being held up, then what's the point? So, to think that you are just going to buy products and lose weight, well, yeah, that might happen, but actually it's probably most likely won't happen, because if you're not getting a connection with your consultant, and it works two ways, you know, there's much as a responsibility from the slimmer to be honest and upfront, because we
Massively.
can only support you with the information that you give us. You know, we're not psychic, and we can't kind of like, you know, if there's an expectation, you know, I always say to my, if my simmers put on, if they put on any weight, I always ask them, did you expect that? You know, and you know, it's not judging, it's not like, you know, why, and I'm going to berate them, but there needs to be an element of honesty and go, actually, Joe, you know what, I wasn't really on my water, and I did go out a couple of nights, and if I really think about it, I know I'm not weighing, and I know I'm not doing this, and I'm like, right, okay, fine. So bearing everything in mind you've
Rein it back
told me,
in.
now you know how, what you can do to move forwards. And it's like, you've got to have that level of honesty. You know, being a consultant, like you say, isn't just selling products and then, you know, sitting back on your laurels. It's like, you know, you've got to be invested in
Yeah.
wanting to help these
And we
people.
don't have a magic wand, because it makes me, I spoke to somebody earlier and she was blaming, the price, she was blaming her parents and something else. And I just said to her, it sounds actually as if you don't want to do this and you're finding
Yeah.
excuses, because
Mm.
we're not expensive. I mean, we're cheaper than a Costa coffee.
Yeah.
You can't put a price on your life. You know, people don't think twice about spending 10, £12 on a packet of cigarettes, but they can't afford to do the diet. That
Yeah.
bugs me when they put alcohol and cigarettes before their health. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
diet isn't expensive if you stick
Yeah.
to it,
Yeah.
and it's going to turn your life around. So, what you invest in 3, 4 months, you're probably
Yeah.
saving loads anyway,
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
the takeouts. And you know, people are like, oh, I don't spend that much on food. People aren't honest. You know, you go
Mm.
to the petrol station and you buy a chocolate bar, or you go to the shops to buy milk and you come out with £20 worth of food.
Or a pie.
Yeah, you do. You just buy anything, don't you? Any old crap, because you're in a shop and
Yeah.
that's what you do.
Yeah.
And it is just getting that right mindset to change all that. So it's
Yeah.
not always the consultant's fault. Yes, it's
Yeah.
nice to have a good consultant that will support you, but
Mm.
ultimately they have to do the
Mm.
hard work. And that's why I say to my clients, don't, because I've had 2 weeks holiday, if you put on weight in those 2 weeks, you can't blame me for that. I can't live with you. You know, you've
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
take that level of responsibility.
So true, isn't it? And also, you know, going back to your point about petrol stations, it just made me think about, I guess, like the versatility of the diet, because we always talk about, you know, we've talked about, you know, the experience you'll get out of it, but kind of like from how it works in terms of flexibility and I guess ease, and that there's no faffing. So depending on the step that you start on, especially if you're going to start on the soul source or two, you know, 2B, or step two, sorry, you know, they're products that you can have, you know, on the go wherever you're going. So if you are, especially if you're like deliveries or if you're emergency
Sorry, that,
services, you know, if you're just somewhere where, you know, you're not surrounded in a kitchen with a microwave or any of those amenities, if you can go
yeah.
to work with a flask of hot water, you
One
know,
sec.
or
Look,
even the
can you close the
bar.
door? The dogs have opened it. Sorry, Alex is going to walk in. The dogs will go mad. Just close the dining room door, Levan, please. Oh, he's gone into the lounge. Sorry.
That's
But no,
right.
you're right. And I think as well, I can't think of anything worse than having to plan meals. Like, it's
Yeah.
so easy just to pick out what you want. One sec. Alex, I'm just on a live. Yeah. It's all right. He's come
He's
home.
home.
Look, 49. I'm so
Yeah,
honoured.
well, better late than never, right, Nick?
But that is the beauty, and I think that's a selling point, was always my selling point. I can't be bothered to calorie count. You know, once you maintain, it's so much easier, because you know what your body can eat. I know
Yeah.
now where I push the boundaries. If I've
Yeah.
eaten too much, I know that. But not to have to plan every single
Yeah.
day and
Yeah.
literally just take out 3 packs and know I've got that one meal at night.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
you don't have to think
Yeah.
about it. It just
Yeah.
takes all that stress
Yeah.
out the way. And you'll probably find that you'll be a feeder, because you'll feed your family more food because you're not eating it. but
I'm
we'll
always
have them
going to
as slim
feed
as
them.
us, don't worry.
Yeah. It's so true, isn't it? Because I you know, and I think that's a lot of people given the option, they'll go, I just don't want to, I don't want to think about it. I just don't want to fast. I just want to get on with it. I don't want to, you know, I'm quite happy being, if they're able to be on step 1B or step 1A, it's like, yeah, fine. I just want to crack on. I just don't
Take
want to
food
think
out of the
about it.
equation.
Like when I remember when I did when I joined Swimming World, and I think I must have spent about 70 quid on fresh produce for 1 week, and in that first week, hand on my heart, I lost half a pound. I could have cried. I could have cried because I batch cooked 3 meals a day and I had to store it in the freezer, and my kids are really rubbish eaters. They wouldn't have eaten it anyway. So I had to spend all this money just for me, and then I had to buy separately for them, and then I wouldn't have minded if it was just on me if it worked, but
Yeah.
half a
I think
pound.
the problem is though, and obviously we don't want to slate other diets, but there's no portion control.
No,
There's no way that I could eat pasta till the cows come home. I mean,
no,
is that your green and your red days? I mean, God, I haven't looked at that for donkey's years.
I
When I
don't
had
know.
my hysterectomy, I have to say, because obviously you're not allowed to do the diet. We can't
Yeah,
do Cambridge for 3 months after. And I really didn't want to pile on any more weight. I'd started to pile it on. And I actually went to Slimming World out of area, hidden in case I saw a client. And I walked out. I just couldn't bear
yeah,
it. It
yeah,
just,
yeah,
it just wasn't for me at all. It's different clientele. It sounds
yeah.
wrong, but I just didn't feel that. I didn't want to clap because someone had done a wee. It was just,
Yeah.
someone had put on half a pound or a pound, and or I don't know what the stuff they were giving as reasons was just, I was just listening to it, it was just BS.
The irony is that knowing now that there are quite a few Slimming World consultants who are on plan with the one-to-one diet.
Yeah, I
Like,
know. And the job is so, I mean, Dale, one of my girls, she's an ex-Weight Watchers, and what she was earning doing all her classes was just ridiculous to what she was earning with us.
what,
I
nothing,
mean,
just the time, because the physical time of setting up a room and you have to lug everything in your car and set up all the
oh, it's
stands and
terrible
all
what
that
they
stuff.
earn. Yeah,
Yeah, mental,
but
isn't it?
it's how the business is.
Yeah.
So,
So I
but
know that there are, I don't know if you've seen any familiar names that have jumped on to watch the live, and I'm
you
sorry I
know what?
haven't
I'm
said.
totally blind because the lights, I've got my light on, ring
You've
light,
got
and I
your light.
can't see the
Oh,
screen at
I've got
all.
my ring light on too. Oh.
I can't
Anyway,
see if there's
so I
been
have seen
messages.
quite a few names, and I know that there was a few of them that had messaged privately about wanting to find out about the business opportunity that is on the 10th of January. So if
It'll be on
anybody,
Zoom. It'll be on Zoom, but I haven't,
yeah,
to be honest, I haven't actually, I'm on my phone, so I can't look. But we'll definitely arrange one in
yeah,
January. We'll get a date together
yeah.
and we'll do a business opportunity meeting
Yeah.
together.
And also, if anyone wants to join the head office business opportunity, then message either me or Nikki, and we can get those details for you. And if any of you are interested in starting plan, then
Yeah,
obviously message
definitely.
either me or Nikki.
Don't put
Um,
your life on hold, guys. Honestly, if you've got a few stone to, whether it's stone or 10 stone, we can
yeah,
help you.
yeah.
Everyone feels the same. I was trying to explain this to somebody
Relative.
earlier.
It's all
10
relative, isn't
stone
it?
for somebody, it is relative.
Yeah,
And it is just the most life-changing experience. I just
yeah,
can't, I mean,
yeah,
we just live and breathe the job, but it's
yeah,
just so incredible.
yeah,
And we're lovely people, so you get an added bonus as well. Speak for yourself, girl.
yeah.
No, we are lovely, but we want it for you. That's the thing. We do this job because we love seeing you guys succeed.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Oh, thank you so much for coming on
You're
live.
welcome. I did this lighting's making my eyes look really dark.
Oh my God, I'm absolutely loving this lighting. By the way, it's this ring light that oh, hey GT. Don't be scared. Embrace it. If you're scared, then then it's right. If you're not scared, it means that you're not taking it seriously.
Or is that
Because I
starting
was,
the diet?
say that again. Yeah, this is GT. He's one of mine.
Hi,
And
GT.
don't, embrace it, because change is gonna come. Change is gonna
And
come.
blog your journey. Do your, even if you don't want to blog it out on the domain, but do it privately with Joe. What you can do is set up an Instagram, and this is for any slimmer. If you want
Yeah,
to blog your journey, but you're not quite ready to put it out there to the world yet, blog it privately onto Instagram. So make Joe your special guest. So you can start blogging privately, and then when you're ready to shout to the world, you
yeah,
can do, because
yeah,
you never know, you might lose the weight and then want to join Joe's business team,
yeah.
because
And that's
you're
so
not her
true.
boss.
It's because we are seeing that the it's very difficult. I suppose it's not difficult, but you don't realize the passion that you have for the business until you are successful in losing weight from it. You will be passionate about the business. Like, I've come in from it as a non-slimmer, and I am hugely passionate about it. But I think if you have lost your weight and you have logged and blogged your journey, the passion would just shoot through the roof, and you will be so thankful that you have your backstory to be
Oh,
able to share,
massively.
because it is like liquid gold. It is so valuable that I don't think anybody appreciates the value of having a backstory, of being able to document your journey. It does, like Nicki said, it doesn't matter if it stays private. You can just keep adding to your account and keep going and keep going. And on the day that you want to feel like you want to invite the world to come and see your story, then that's absolutely fine. But make sure that you document it. And I know that these pictures of yourself at the very beginning are going to be the worst pictures you could possibly take, and you're going to hate yourself, and you're not going to like them, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and you're going to be embarrassed. Do it. Take pictures, because we do not give ourselves enough credit when we look directly in the mirror and go, hey, I actually look all right. We need that validation of something to compare in front of us. And when we have those pictures, when we have those videos to compare, even as little as 2, 3, 4 weeks down the line, they make
Yeah.
such a big difference.
And write down your feelings as well. So don't just do the pictures. Write down how your life is changing by you losing the weight. So how your confidence changing, because you
Hmm.
do get more confident as you lose the weight. Your confidence definitely grows.
Yeah.
And list your non-scale victories as well.
Yeah, yeah. And also, have that conversation, what your future self, what does your future self want to, where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? What are you wearing? How are you feeling? What are you doing, an activity? Is it something you've never done before? Or all of these things, kind of like, what is your promise to yourself? And you don't
Or
need to necessarily put a time on it.
can you remember a time when you were slimmer? So that's an NLP
Yeah,
treatment where we get them to go back. So they go
yeah,
back to when they felt good, and what they can hear, what they can see, what they
yeah,
can smell.
yeah,
And then I get them to go back there. So if they're having a bad time, I just get them to go somewhere quiet and go back to that time again. And then they can feel like, for me, I always remember going back to Turkey when I'd lost because I met Levant Big.
yeah.
And obviously when I went back again, um, his face was a picture, because I think I'd lost just under 3 stone when I'd gone back. Um, but I can still remember the hustle and bustle when I walked in there. I can remember what I was wearing. I don't remember the actual song, but
Yeah,
I can, when I talk about it, my eyes light up because it makes me
yeah,
happy.
yeah.
And that's what they're the sort of things that you can practice on your clients.
It's so emotive though, isn't it? Because I think, like you said at the very beginning of this conversation, it's not just eating a product. It has to go way beyond just thinking you're
It's
having a
not a
meal
diet.
replacement.
It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. And when you can accept it's your lifestyle change, you're more likely to get on with it, because we diet all our lives. We're on and off a diet, but
Mm,
our lifestyle change should just be once.
yeah, yeah.
So.
Oh my God, Nikki, I could talk to you all night.
Bless you. Oh, well, we'll do another one. I talk to you every bloody day anyway, woman.
I know,
It's a
fabulous flame.
joy. But how lovely, and this is the thing, I know I said it earlier, but I will say it again. The beauty of this network is, even when you're feeling the lowest of your low, there's always somebody who can pick you back up. There's always somebody in the network that you've met and you know that you can just tap on them. So we might be self-employed and not have a business, like go into a company and you've got colleagues that way, but we've got a
Mm,
massive network
mm.
of over 8,000 people.
Mental.
So, and there are some real diamonds in that network who will take you under their wings. And it's nice though, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, and I'm not even on your, I'm not, there is no connection between you and I, apart from that we are consultants. And, I think that there are some people who you've got to ask for help. And if you ask, then someone will answer you. And I asked and you answered. And, you've just been
It was as simple
amazing.
as that. And then you went on my back to basic training.
Yeah.
And then I haven't been able to get rid of her since, guys. I'm trying really hard. She's not getting the message.
Oh, mate, stubborn doesn't even come close to it. Let me just tell you,
Um,
Nikki,
no,
I am going
honestly,
to be like a
it's
bad
been
smell.
brilliant. No, you're passionate, and that's why I love you. You've got the same passion as me. I'm drawn to people who have the same business ethics as I do.
Yeah,
Obviously I've got a team. Some want to work hard, some want to work not so hard.
yeah,
Some are desperately trying to get their business going, some desperately aren't. It doesn't matter. I still love them all.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Amazing. Well,
right,
yes.
I better go and see my son now. He's
Yeah,
shown me an
give him a
appearance.
little bit of it. I bet you he's come home with a bag of dirty laundry.
Yeah, all he can do is own now. It's old enough.
How old is he?
20. Oh, he's left home. Yeah, he doesn't live. He's at uni, isn't he?
Yeah, but he'll
So,
still come home with washing.
oh yeah, he does come home. He does it himself.
My husband still is under the firm belief that I shrink everything. I was like, hold on a minute. My clothes are all right and the kids' clothes are all right, but yet yours somehow manages to
But then
shrink. I
just
was
let
like,
him do his own washing. Just if it shrinks, then do your own, mate.
my reply was not so polite.
No, that just surprised me, Joe.
No, it wasn't actually. It wasn't at all. Anyway, right, I'll let you get on and give
Right.
Alex all those
All
lovely
right,
mummy cuddles.
gorgeous.
Thank you
See you
so much. And if
later.
anyone has any
You're
questions,
welcome.
then please reach out to me and Nikki. Mwah.
Yeah, defo. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, I'm trying to stop it. It's your one.
Oh, I'm
Oh.
doing it now. All right.